All right, happy Tuesday. Welcome to Frontline. 6 o'clock here on the East Coast. It's been 4 weeks of government shutdown, no end in sight. But Vice President J.D. Vance says the White House found a way to pay the troops this week. More on that later. But we begin tonight with some breaking news from Capitol Hill, where the House Judiciary Committee has just revealed that Jack Smith's Operation Arctic Frost was far larger than we thought. It wasn't 8 Republicans, but more than 160 Republicans potentially targeted. We're going to have a few more on this with Congressman Andy Biggs in a minute. Also across the Pacific Ocean in Japan, President Trump was welcomed by a thunderous crowd on the USS George Washington. That's what I voted for. Trump telling the sailors no enemy will threaten the United States Navy. And Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton is suing the manufacturers of Tylenol, claiming the company withheld evidence that the drug was potentially linked to autism and ADHD. Tylenol maker Kenvue says it disagrees with the allegations that Tylenol causes autism. But first, remember when all them pardons signed by Biden's Autopen? Yeah, they may be null and void. Let's do this. Hey, you remember that investigation Congress had where most of the people in it pled the fifth, you know, the right to not self-incriminate? Well, the final report on the use of Biden's Autopen is out today from Congress, and something I have been very concerned about specifically were those pardons. Because I thought that we were told by all the people that did speak that they were all above board, like Biden's chief of staff.
So to your knowledge, all decisions to issue executive orders and any form of clemency, pardons or otherwise, during the Biden administration were made by Joe Biden alone?
Yes.
Really, Jeff Zients? How would you know? Because you weren't even in the room for some of those meetings that resulted in some pardons. Here, from the report, quote, confirmed that in at least one instance, his staff sent an email from his email account under his name to his staff secretary's office authorizing the use of the Autopen to sign multiple presidential pardons. Not only do we not have any record of the president authorizing the pardon, this proves that the staff used the chief of staff's email in order to use the Autopen. Oh, it gets a lot worse. Here from the report, quote, Zients admitted he did not either attend the meeting in physically or virtually, which the president allegedly verbally provided his authorization for the pardons. In fact, Rosa Poe, the staff member who sent this email on Zients' behalf, herself did not attend the meeting either. So the chief of staff wasn't in the meeting, but his staff, who apparently also wasn't in the meeting, sent an email as if she was the chief of staff authorizing the president's signature on a pardon based on something that some other staff told them to do. Got it. This is why the report noted, quote, recently uncovered documents and witness testimony indicate that even when a verbal decision was, quote, memorialized in an email, it does not prove that President Biden had made the decision himself. Understatement of the year, guys. I have to get documents notarized to register my car at the DMV, and you're telling me there's no chain of custody or no procedure to pardon someone? Flag on the field. It even got worse. While it seems no pardon should be authorized through such an absurd game of telephone, it is worth noting that this slate included some of President Biden's more controversial pardons, such as 5 Biden family members, Dr. Anthony Fauci, General Mark Milley, and the members of Congress who served on the select subcommittee to investigate the January 6 attack on the United States Capitol and their staff. Yep. 5 Biden family members, including his crack-smoking, gun-tossing son Hunter, who was in the room for all this stuff. Why?
Did you ever have any concerns about Hunter Biden being in a meeting that it was strange to you he was there?
Somewhat during those final weeks and some of the pardon discussions. It wasn't inappropriate, and the president can have whoever he wants in a room.
I sure think it's inappropriate. I mean, you know Donald Trump, if he was to pardon one of his kids for, quote, anything they might be charged with ever, or if one of them was actually in the room during any actual decision-making for anything, Democrats would be all over. But for Hunter, the crack addict selling his splatter paintings for $500K, nah, I'm sure that's above board. It's almost as laughable as considering the same White House. Remember when they sent their Justice Department to raid Mar-a-Lago for things as small as handwritten notes on a napkin because they declared them national records? Yet these same people who made such a big deal about that don't have a sliver of legitimate records for preemptive pardons, which, by the way, have never been done before. Nixon's Watergate pardon was totally different from this. Biden gave Autopen gave broad sweeping pardons to some of his administration's most controversial people, their committees, and their actions for any crime they might ever get charged with. Hey, real quick, Jeff Science, Carl Higbie, Newsmax. Why would you pardon them if you didn't internally know that they did something wrong? Care to answer? Oh, and follow up. If you knew that they were doing something that is so controversial and legally unprecedented, why would you not at least attempt to make it appear that you had records of this, right? No? This is what I want the DOJ to start asking, and as of this afternoon, thankfully, they are. But this goes to my broader point, which is that these people running the White House were so arrogant that they thought they could just do whatever they wanted, not bound by laws, any White House regulations, customs, or even the Constitution. The report noted regarding 32 of the 51 last-minute clemency grants, specifically saying, quote, in the absence of sufficient contemporaneous documentation indicating that cognitively deteriorating President Biden himself made a given executive decision, such decisions do not carry the force of law and should be considered void. Yeah, I think every one of those pardons and commutations should be considered void. Just as we said for the last 4 years, we were called crazy, that there might be even the possibility of a shadow government operating independent of the president, who appeared to be a vegetable at the time. And all these people said that these investigations were partisan and they were useless and they were a waste of taxpayers. It turns out us so-called conspiracy theorists were right again. These investigations are 100% necessary because why would you issue pardons to people if you didn't think they needed something to be pardoned for? The January 6th committee, at a bare minimum, they deleted the evidence, which is a crime. Worst case scenario, they covered up for the FBI, embedding 274 undercover agents in assets in the crowd that day. Who knows if they were the ones who broke in first, which would make it entrapment like the FBI did to Gretchen Whitmer's kidnapping case that got thrown out. Covered up, obviously. They lied about it and then used those investigations to impeach Donald Trump to try to prevent him from running again so that he would never find out about the coup the deep state ran, undermining his entire first presidency. Either way, people should probably go to jail. Dr. Fauci should be buried under the jail for conspiracy against rights. The architect of completely fabricated medical data to remove constitutional rights, like the right to peaceably assemble for, church. Oh, and force you to inject an experimental vaccine. Then you got General Mark Milley. Remember, he had discussions with a Chinese counterpart saying that he would warn China if the president was planning any military action. That's like treason to me. Under 18 U.S. Code 2381, reinforcing Article 3, Section 3 of the Constitution, he can be sentenced to death for that. I bet Milley's freaking out right now, and he should be. Now, here's a constitutional crisis that this may have actually created, though. Obviously, the DOJ should investigate this to the fullest extent of the law, but when these people get hauled in for questioning under oath, how does that go? Because this is unique. Once you've accepted a pardon, you don't have a Fifth Amendment right anymore because that's the right to remain silent to avoid self-incrimination. But if you've accepted that pardon, apparently you can't be incriminated. So what happens if these people, they have to talk at that point. So what happens if these people disclose information that incriminates themselves in being complicit with a fraudulent pardon? How about did Hunter sell any of those pardons too? Anyone want to ask him that? This has literally never been litigated before, ever. And the reason it's never been litigated is because no White House was ever arrogant enough to conduct such a fast and loose Autopen use procedure. But further, Biden's doctor has been referred out of this report for review from the medical board because he never flagged what we all saw from the outside. He even declined giving Biden a cognitive test, a test that actually might have led to the 25th Amendment because he was not competent. But was that because all the people actually running the White House and the government didn't want that because they were doing whatever they wanted? Certainly seems possible right now. But the most important thing here, how many executive orders that literally changed how people lived their lives from stuffing men into women's sports, COVID protocols that destroyed countless family businesses, border policies that got Americans killed. How many of those executive orders might have been signed by the Autopen with no knowledge of the president himself? That's the real crime. See, whatever damage might have been done illegally just can't be undone. You can't bring someone back from the dead who was plowed down by an illegal immigrant. But you can prosecute those responsible, and they better. I mean, it's literally teed up for the DOJ to investigate, charge, prosecute this whole case before the midterms. Okay, and that's being generous. Let me tell you, you got 77 pissed off Americans just like me who are saying you better do that. Arizona Congressman Andy Biggs, member of the Oversight Committee, but part of that report. Congressman, this drives me bananas that this happened, and we said it was happening.
Yeah, you, me, a lot of us saw this happening. But I mean, Carl, when you think about it, this is a group of people, Dr. Jill at the head of it, I believe, preventing the country from knowing what was going on in the White House. And so we had a testimony come out that the reason they didn't have a cognitive test for Joe Biden, why was that? Not because of any presidential or executive reason, but for political purposes. I mean, that was the testimony. We're not going to have them tested for political purposes. And then they actually have a set of protocols that says you don't use the Autopen, for instance, on pardons and commutations and executive orders and on legislative action. Well, they didn't follow any of their protocols. It was a disaster. Nobody knew who was in charge, Carl. Right. And that's why you get all of this crazy, and it's never been done before in the history of the country.
Well, the other thing
is happened here.
Donald Trump is like, every time he signs someone's napkin with an autograph, there's a press conference. I mean, this is like the fact that they hid this. And former Biden White House staff secretary Neera Tanden testified that she sent over pardon requests for Biden, and she knows he didn't sign them. Roll this real quick.
Then there was the pardons that I was responsible for that happened in the winter. There was a number of cases. I don't remember if he signed that. I don't believe he signed. I know he didn't sign it by hand, and I don't believe. I can't recall if it required an Autopen or not. That's what my testimony is.
I don't recall. I mean, like, these people, like, every one of them should go to jail.
Yeah, I mean, look at the way she framed the question, her answer. She started off saying, "I don't believe he." Oh, that would be bad if I said I don't believe he signed it. So then she comes back and says, "Oh, I don't recall." The bottom line here is this was at best case for them. It was just blatant, obvious chaos because you didn't have the leader of the free world who was capable of being the leader of the free world. At the worst, you actually had perhaps a conspiracy to actually to take care of these things. And the testimony is pretty clear. The only time President Biden was there, and you actually had the right people there, was the time that Hunter Biden was there. And Hunter Biden was there when they were taking care of the 5 Biden family members, Fauci, Milley, the J6 guys. Why was Hunter Biden there? Well, and then you get to the chief of staff, Mr. Zients, Jeff Zients. How come he didn't know all this stuff was going on?
The chief of staff.
He's chief of staff. He's chief of staff.
So crazy.
And so that's my point is they all claim deniability. I didn't know. And the reality is they all should have known. They had protocols in writing that they all ignored. Yeah.
Well, I mean, at a bare minimum, it makes him incompetent, which is not a crime, but obviously incompetence is probably going to be the plea that they take out of this thing. But this investigation, as you know, sir, went well beyond just pardons. It uncovered that Biden staffers were actually incentivized to lie about the president's ability to even do the job in the first place. His aide, Mike Donilon, was in line for a pretty payday. Roll this.
How much were you paid for your role in the campaign in 2024?
I was paid just a little bit short of $4 million.
I'm sorry, how much?
$4 million.
Would the amount of pay you received for your role on the campaign, would that have changed depending on how far into the race President Biden made it?
My sense is that
The answer was 4 million. God, I hate these people.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, Carl, if Biden would have stayed in, which is why they were trying to protect him and hide him, that figure would have doubled to over $8 million. That's what you have to understand here. There was money at play, there was power at play, and there was no incentive to do the right thing other than moral compunction, and they didn't have that.
Yeah. I mean, it's shocking to me. Well, Congressman, I can't thank you enough for at least getting the report out there so the DOJ can hopefully start to get to the bottom of this. So good on you, sir.
Yeah. Thanks, and Chairman Comer as well. Thank you.
All right, coming up, is Bill Gates changing his climate change stance after years of freaking out? But first, 6 weeks after Charlie Kirk's murder, the Senate holds a hearing on left-wing political violence, highlighted by some prominent conservatives who have also had violence conducted upon themselves. There were some fireworks. Former Trump attorney Christina Bobb is going to sound off in a sec.
Whenever news breaks.
A lot of destruction there. It was really the front lines in the battle.
And wherever it happens.
And humanitarian corridors opened up this morning.
We're trying to go rescue a 96-year-old lady that doesn't have anybody to take care of her.
They're using ingenuity. They refuse to give up.
It's incoming fire. Come on. Yeah, let's get down here.
Newsmax is there for you.
A peace plan for Gaza. For the plan to advance, Hamas must disarm. Instead,
Tonight, terrifying images emerging from Gaza. Videos show Hamas-linked gunmen carrying out a public execution as they return to the streets.
Hamas on a rampage, executing Palestinians, bloody crackdown, spreading terror. For freedom, not terror, Hamas must go.
There's nothing worse than losing your dog before their time.
That's why I created Dr. Marty Nature's Blend, designed to help dogs with everything from digestive issues to itching, even moving better.
Nature's Blend works because it's freeze-dried. So instead of destroying the nutrients with high heat, they all get right into your dog's body.
Take it from a veterinarian with over 50 years of experience saving dogs' lives. I have never seen a food make this much impact on a dog's health.
For a limited time, get up to 54% off Dr. Marty Nature's Blend, plus a free gift with our special TV offer. Call or go to drmartypets.com/TV.
Start your journey with Balance of Nature supplements. Get 35% off your first preferred set by using discount code Newsmax.
How do we get at this problem? What's the road forward in your view?
We might be able to find a little bipartisan agreement if we acknowledge something that both parties at different times have acknowledged, which is that marketplaces of ideas or any other kind of marketplace only function when there are rules and when we abide by those rules. You can't have a marketplace if bandits keep shooting up the marketplace.
This is exactly what I've been saying. Earlier, the Senate had a hearing on political violence to get to the bottom of all the recent attacks. Witness Michael Knowles and Chad Wolf citing the rise in radical leftist violence. We already know that the left doesn't report violence on its own side like BLM. I mean, that was never attributed to left-wing violence, even though it was propped up by left-wing. And we know that there is political violence against the right. And the left refuses to call it crime, so it doesn't get recognized. So what's the real story here? I mean, this is the problem that I have with this. There's no universal definition of what America actually is and what America actually stands for. So the left says, no, we're fighting for this. The right says we're fighting for this. And somewhere in the middle, we're supposed to find ourselves. Christina Bobb, former Trump attorney. This is crazy to me, and it was very well exposed today, Christina, that there is no definition as far as the left goes that they think is violence that's not justified.
Right. I mean, this is what the left is doing. They are creating their own definitions. They are they're redefining words, redefining violence, redefining anything that they want to redefine to fit the story that they want to be. They are not looking at this objectively. They are not concerned about the safety of Americans on either side. And so I think we're stuck fighting a semantics war with the left when they're actually out there using real weapons against conservatives.
Yeah, I know exactly. And former DHS acting secretary Chad Wolf brought up the left wing and the violence. I mean, listen to what he said.
The increase in politically motivated violence over the last several years has been driven largely by radical left-wing extremist groups and individuals that believe violence is a legitimate means to achieve political goals. A recent analysis by the Center for Strategic and International Studies shows that, quote, left-wing violence has risen in the last 10 years, and left-wing incidents in 2025 are on track to reach 30-year highs.
But, Christina, here's my problem, is the way, I mean, Biden's DOJ obviously just didn't report crimes in our major cities and left-wing attacks. But they would say, like, if an Antifa guy came up and took a swing at me and I knocked his teeth through the back of the head, that was then considered right-wing violence against left-wing.
Yeah, I don't think most Americans are really buying the statistics at this point. We have seen time and time again where the statistics are manipulated against conservatives, against Republicans, to try to justify whatever it is that the left wants to do. I mean, this whole hearing harkens back to about, 10 years ago when big tech testified before Congress and said conservatives were not being censored, and they were playing games with the words then. I mean, unfortunately, now we're looking at violence. So 10 years from now, are we going to see that, oh, no, there actually was a lot of violence against conservatives? So I think leaders really need to come to the table and realize that we're talking about lives here. This isn't political talking points, and hopefully our leaders can straighten this out. Yeah, exactly. I mean, they did take a shot at Trump. Well, they tried to shoot twice. But this is something you cannot make this up. Look what happened when Michael Knowles went after Cory Booker's Jay Jones endorsement. Roll this.
I think Senator Booker made a good point just a moment ago when he said we have to self-examine, we have to be introspective. And, I can't help but think of a line today. Jay Jones has the vision, commitment, and integrity to keep families safe and make sure every Virginian gets a fair shake in the justice system. I'll be working every day to ensure Jay wins this race. Senator Booker, in this spirit of introspection, is standing by this endorsement. So I suppose I would invite, perhaps I should have looked, because Senator Booker has left the room, and I think I can guess why.
Mic drop.
Yeah, no, I mean, we have an attorney general candidate in the state of Virginia. The election is next week, a week from today, who advocated for shooting one of his political opponents in the head and harming the family and watching the children cry in their parents' arms. I mean, and that's the person who we're supposed to believe is standing up for law and order and who's supposed to be the chief law enforcement officer in the state of Virginia. I mean, it's not even, it does not pass the sniff test. It can't be taken seriously. Yeah, well,
the other thing, too, real quick, 6 weeks after, obviously, Charlie Kirk was killed, Lance Twiggs, the lover of the suspected assassin, the tranny lover, Tyler Robinson, vanished from the shared apartment. We don't know where he is. I mean, you would, she, I don't know what the heck you call these things anymore, but they're gone.
Yeah, that's alarming, and I'm not sure if I need to be concerned about the government, considering he or she was supposedly a government witness, or is there something else going on there? But the fact that this person is just gone, I hope that law enforcement knows where they are, but who knows what's going on there?
Yeah, I actually think it is a dude just pretending to be a chick. All right, Christina Bobb, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, coming up, Jews for Zorhan, but not just any Jews, trans rabbi. You just cannot make this weird stuff up. I got to that in our Culture Clash next.
You know, everybody's reporting the same stories, the same spin. You turn the channel, it's always the same. But not us, we're different. We report the real news, no spin, just the facts, Turn to us, and you won't turn back.
Tune in to Rob Schmidt tonight on Newsmax.
Hi, folks. I'd like to tell you about YRefi. Did you know that as an accredited investor, when you invest in YRefi, your interest rate is fixed? And did you know that you can invest from 1 to 5 years and you can spread your investment over those terms to best suit your needs? And you have the freedom to take your monthly interest income or reinvest it, whatever you choose. When you invest in YRefi, your interest is calculated daily, you're paid monthly, and should you need your money back early, there is a liquidity feature. Would you like more information? All you have to do is call 877-80-INVEST. That's 877-80-INVEST, or log on to investyrrefi.com. That's investyrrefi.com for complete details. And make sure you review the private placement memorandum and scan this QR code to view the disclosure at your leisure. YRefi, investing in America's future.
Derriere, caboose, booty, badunkadunk. No matter what you call it, if you have hemorrhoids, your tushy is no laughing matter. So don't use a cream that treats your rear end like a joke. Get serious relief with Recticare Advanced Hemorrhoidal Cream. Recticare Advanced is seriously effective with 2 powerful medicines for rapid dual-action relief, soothing the uncomfortable swelling, itching, and pain of your hemorrhoids. For serious hemorrhoid relief for your buns, get Recticare Advanced.
You woke up with a sore throat and a low-grade fever. You know you are getting sick, so here's your choices. You can get sicker and miss work, try to see a doctor this week, or sit hours in a crowded waiting room at urgent care.
I have a smarter option for you. Open your medical emergency kit. Match your symptoms to doctor-recommended prescription in your booklet and take the right meds now and get well faster.
This is not a first aid kit. It's like having an urgent care in your home. It includes doctor-prescribed medications to treat over 39 medical issues like respiratory infections, strep throat, pneumonia, UTIs, and more.
No waiting to see the doctor and no standing in line at the pharmacy. It's right here.
Every home should have at least one medical emergency kit, and here's how to order.
Order online and save $45. Your kit to treat dozens of common and serious illnesses is rushed to your door. Visit urgentcarekit.com/news, promo code NEWS. That's urgentcarekit.com/news, promo code NEWS.
Hello, everyone. It's President Donald J. Trump, and it's Trump time. Check out this red beauty. It's one of my new watches. Wear it proudly on your wrist, and everyone will know exactly what it's for, who it represents. It's really going to be something special. It's for your favorite president. Get your watch today at gettrumpwatches.com. These make a great gift. It's Trump time.
This holiday, set the table with the best. From orchard-picked pears to curated gourmet gifts, Harry & David brings a legacy of flavor to every celebration. Make it a hand-picked holiday with Harry & David.
What you are about to see is not an SNL sketch. It is real life. It is rabbis for Zorhan. One is even trans.
Hi, Rabbi. Hi, Rabbi. Hi, Rabbi. Hi, Rabbi. Hi, Rabbi. Hi.
We're among the thousands of Jewish New Yorkers who've been out door knocking and phone banking to elect Zohran Mamdani.
We know Zohran will fight to make our city affordable and safe for our families. As Jews, as rabbis, as New Yorkers, we believe that all people deserve to thrive. Zohran agrees.
Nothing like these. I mean, it's like literally like a self-hating Jew. I mean, it really adds some spice to the election here. What is like funny is most of practicing Jewish people don't even recognize these people as legitimate rabbis because the book, that the Torah says that you can't be a female rabbi, and you certainly can't be gay in the same religion. I don't even think they anticipated trans when they wrote that book, so probably can't be that either. And if I'm one of those feminist rabbis, look. One of them looked awful familiar. Maybe this is why.
But today, we're here to find joy, to feel at home, to be free, to say loud and clear that you belong.
Right. That self-identified queer trans Israeli American rabbi, Abby Stein, being removed by Secret Service from Joe Biden's Pride Parade speech back in 2024 for interrupting and screaming about a permanent ceasefire in Gaza. She later wrote on their experience in a blog post, "I want to bring this message to the White House. We addressed Dr. Biden," not a real doctor, "and our fellow attendees, respectively introduced ourselves as queer Jews and chanted our support for a permanent ceasefire, blah, blah, blah." This is why voting matters, folks. But look, more broadly, just look at NYC from the presidential election. 67% for Kamala, 30% for Trump. But that was because only 60% of the people, registered voters, voted in Manhattan. Like, I'm not saying everybody who stayed home would have gone for Trump, but theoretically, enough people stayed home that they could have swung the election in a different direction. Come out and vote, Republicans. Benj Irby, political analyst, and Kay Smythe, writer for KSmytheHill.com. Okay, Benj, you are ready to jump out of your chair.
Trans rabbi. So I guess they went a little far with the circumcision, or I'm not sure how that would exactly work. Like, trans rabbi. I didn't even think that, like, Jewish people believed in that sort of thing. And I guess now it's more so like, chickens for KFC with this whole Mamdani thing, or like cows for McDonald's here. Look, I don't know why any person who would be a Jewish person, who would be an American person, someone who lived through 9/11, which I did in New York City, being born and raised here, would be ready to vote for someone who has such ties to extremists. And there's nothing wrong with like actual American Muslims, especially you have like Nation of Islam, who are like Black American Muslims, people like that. But this guy, Mamdani, there's so many extreme people that he's been aligned with. And for this to have happened in New York City just 24 years ago, and like this is where we are, like we were the city of like Giuliani and even like Bloomberg. And it's like, what the heck has happened? We only have a few more weeks to go. Go Sliwa, go Cuomo, go anybody that's not this guy promising all this free stuff, because that's what's putting his whole coalition together. The promise of free stuff makes Jews forget that, like, he's an extremist.
Yeah, Kate, we talked about this the other night, though, about how he said, my aunt is so afraid to go in the subway after 9/11, she couldn't wear a hijab. And then we found out that she doesn't have an aunt here. She actually lives in, like, somewhere else, like 5,000 miles away. And so he wanted to clarify that it wasn't his aunt, it was someone else who, like, anyway, roll this.
I was speaking about my aunt. I was speaking about Zerafui, my father's cousin, who sadly passed away a few years ago. And for the takeaway from my more than 10-minute address about Islamophobia in this race and in this city to be the question of my aunt tells you everything about Andrew Cuomo and his inability to reckon with a crisis of his own.
Things that didn't happen for 500. And of course he invokes, she passed away. I bet that was a convenient political truth for him.
Oh, yeah. He probably just like went down the line and tried to find like some random family member that could like just about fit the description so he could make up for the blatant lie that he told. Yeah, he has one aunt. She lives in Tanzania, which I think is also the location of one of the 3 like $100,000 or whatever it was weddings that this guy threw for him and his wife, because he's not a man of the people. He lives in a rent-controlled apartment but has like more money than probably half of New York put together, because he's a compulsive liar. Guys, like, he's a compulsive liar, like most Democrats, who's going to do some kind of victim-y, sad, I can't believe that's what you focused on out of a 10-minute address. Dude, you didn't say anything else interesting. And I'm sure if you had said something else interesting, it probably would have also been a lie or just another stupid idea, because that's what this guy is built for. Lies and stupid ideas, just like all Democrats.
This is like Democrats in general. And now we're just now finding out, Benj, that Obama apparently wasn't super happy about Pelosi's last-minute, surprise endorsement of Kamala Harris. This is crazy. According to the new book in ABC, Jonathan Carl, Obama called Pelosi soon after the public endorsement. Carl wrote that this person summed up Obama's message to Pelosi as essentially, what the F did you just do?
Well, I will say this. I think this Zoran's aunt, I think her name is Corn Pop. I'm just, I think so. I'm just saying, just throwing it out there. Look, as far as
legs,
right? As far as Obama is concerned, look, what the F he just did was not protect a black woman, and according to the woke rules, that's a cardinal woke rule. We must always protect black women, no matter what. He did not protect Kamala Harris, right? And I was going to say, because now in 2025, he is actually calling on robocalls for people to vote a white woman, Spamberger over Winsome Sears, a strong black woman. Obama, you're wrong for that, sir. You can put him in woke jail.
Kay, last 15 seconds to you on this.
No, I think that, again, it's sort of like hilarious. Like, say what you want about Obama, but he, like, every now and again, he does have good points. Like the fact that he shouldn't have won the Nobel Peace Prize all those years ago because he didn't do anything. And the fact that Kamala Harris never should have been given any position in politics ever because she's unqualified and also an idiot liar, just like the rest of them.
Yeah, plain and simple. Kay, Benj, always a pleasure. All right, coming up, Bill Gates' shocking climate U-turn. Why the sudden change of heart? Did he buy more property that requires it? Details next.
The press won't report the real story.
The American people are actually very smart.
Ridiculous statements.
These guys are just plain weird.
Actual scandals.
Even the immunity decision. I mean, that decision was so misreported.
That's my job, and I aim to do it every night.
A peace plan for Gaza. For the plan to advance, Hamas must disarm. Instead,
tonight, terrifying images emerging from Gaza. Videos show Hamas-linked gunmen carrying out a public execution as they return to the streets.
Hamas on a rampage, executing Palestinians, bloody crackdown, spreading terror. For freedom, not terror, Hamas must go.
Make this Christmas the year you go all in on joy. At Balsam Hill, celebrate with one of our beautifully crafted lifelike trees. For a limited time during our anniversary sale, save up to 50% off and start making memories at balsamhill.com.
Humana Medicare Advantage plans. Carry this card, and you could have the power to get benefits beyond original Medicare. These are convenient plans that offer all of the benefits of original Medicare, plus extra coverage and benefits. With a Humana Medicare Advantage plan, you could get doctor, hospital, and prescription drug coverage in one convenient plan, with $0 copays on hundreds of prescriptions. All plans include dental coverage, including $0 copays for covered preventive services, vision coverage with eye exams, and an allowance to use towards eyewear, and hearing benefits with routine hearing exams and coverage toward hearing aids. That's more than you get with original Medicare. But it gets even better because Humana offers plans with $0 or low monthly plan premiums. You may also get $0 copays for routine vaccines at in-network retail pharmacies, $0 copays for in-network primary care visits, and $0 copays for in-network preventive services. Plus, worldwide coverage for emergency and urgent care when you travel. And Medicare Advantage plans ensure your covered medical costs, including doctor and emergency care, will never go above a maximum out-of-pocket amount that you know beforehand. Imagine benefits like these in one convenient plan. Plus, you'll have access to Humana's multiple large plan networks of doctors, hospitals, and pharmacies. So if you want more from Medicare, call or scan the QR code now to see if there's a plan in your area that could give you extra coverage and benefits, including coverage for doctor, hospital, and prescription drugs, plus a cap on your out-of-pocket medical costs. And all plans include coverage for dental, vision, and hearing. A knowledgeable, licensed Humana sales agent will explain your coverage options, even help you enroll over the phone. Call today, but now is the time. The annual enrollment period ends December 7th. Humana, a more human way to healthcare.
An official message from Medicare.
Medicare plans change from one year to the next. And this year, it's important for you to review your current coverage and compare all your options during Medicare open enrollment. Compare health plans. Compare drug coverage. Compare costs. See if you can save. And make sure your drugs are covered. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Compare plans now at Medicare.gov.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
All right, some of the craziest breaking news I've probably ever done, but a truck carrying diseased monkeys crashed, allowing the whatever type of monkey they are, to escape, look, this is coming from Tulane University, where they were infected with COVID, hepatitis C, and the herp. The Jasmine County Sheriff's Department is saying these monkeys are 40 pounds and are aggressive to... Well, I would be too if you infected me with hep C and require personal protective equipment to handle. Or you could just shoot them. I mean, that's an idea. The conspiracy theorists remain undefeated in this stuff. Unbelievable. Bill Gates, the Microsoft co-founder, by the way, who spent billions of his own money to raise the alarm about dangers of climate change and how we're all going to die, is now doing like a 180 on what he called a doomsday outlook. In a lengthy memo, he said, quote, although climate change will have serious consequences, particularly for people in the poorest countries, it will not lead to humanity's demise. People will be able to live and thrive in most places on Earth for the foreseeable future. Did this guy get on testosterone replacement, like hormone therapy or something? Hey, I love to see this, but one of the biggest scams of our century falling apart right before our eyes. Told you so. Patrick Dorinson, the Common Sense Cowboy and author of the fantastic new book, The Common Sense Cowboy's Guide to Life, Stories from the Old Guy at the End of the Bar. Patrick, what the heck happened to Bill Gates? He got on some TRT?
Well, maybe he did. He never had any to begin with. But look, it just proves the old saying that even a broken clock is right twice a day. But let's review. Bill Clinton, same person, Bill Clinton, Bill Gates. Bill Gates spent years sounding the alarm, right, on climate change. And now he says, don't be alarmed. Then he said, oh, we got to spend trillions of dollars on stuff to prevent the earth from blowing up. And then what he says now is, guess what? We spent it on the wrong things. I have no confidence in Bill Gates or any of these people, all the geniuses who've been telling us to eat bugs instead of eating meat while they're sitting there eating beef tenderloin in Davos. So, it's absolutely ridiculous. And one more thing. Bill Gates has said that in the age of AI, that humans need to find a new God. Well, I'm sorry, Bill, but I'm going to stick with God Almighty and His Son, Jesus Christ. I don't know what you're going to do.
Yeah, I mean, he's also been involved with some questionable scientific studies. Who knows if he was involved in the overturned tractor trailer where the monkeys escaped from. All right, Amazon.
They're his monkeys.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe. I mean, wouldn't surprise me. I think he's the largest single owner of farmland in America. Why is that?
Yeah.
So he can have his GMO seeds blow all over other people's fields. All right, Amazon laying off about 14,000 corporate workers that it invests in more AI. And this reminds me, Patrick, of when you remember when UPS went on like this massive strike and they came up with this huge 4-year deal that would like double pay, and then they laid off 12,000 employees, because this is the perfect example of what happens when people demand more money that is generated by their product. It turns out it's cheaper to invest in a robot or AI to do it faster than them.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. And you know something? My dad, who lived till 99, was a pretty smart fella. I remember years ago when all these young people were going into programming, right? And they're making 6 figures and everything else. And my dad said to me one time, he said, you know something, son? I hope they enjoy their 6 figures now, because pretty soon they're going to figure out a way to get rid of them, and they're going to do the programming with machines, and that's exactly what's happening today. So, good luck to them.
Well, that was Biden. He was like, well, they can, you should learn to code if you're a coal miner.
Yeah,
it turns
learn to
out,
code.
Yeah, we need coal a lot more than we need coders right now.
Yeah.
Weird that he got that one. All right, day 28 of the government shutdown. Democrats were just handed a huge blow. The largest federal workers union is now siding with Republicans, calling for an end to the shutdown and a clean resolution.
Yeah, well, guess what? Nothing focuses the mind like a hanging, especially if you're the one about to be hung. And missing a paycheck is similar to a hanging in this case. And even they're saying, look, you guys, you're in the wrong position in this thing. But remember, Chuck Schumer forgot something, and I thought he was pretty smart, but I guess he isn't. He forgot the first rule of holes. Once you find yourself in one, stop digging. Now they don't know the way out, and that's why they're stuck, and that's why the Republicans are winning this battle for once.
Yeah. Real quick, Senator Rick Scott, who's actually one of the richest people on Capitol Hill, wants to suspend paychecks for member of Congress. Look, I'm here for it, but it's ironic coming from him.
Yeah, you know something, every time one of these shutdowns happens, some senator or congressman says, we're going to withhold pay. But the funny thing is, if they'd have done their jobs passing the appropriations bills on time, we wouldn't be in this position. Yeah. We'd have had it all done, wrapped up for Thanksgiving.
And if military ain't getting paid, they better not get paid. Hey, military's getting paid because of the grace and nicety of one guy right now. So Patrick Dorinson.
Donald J. Trump.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the guy got it to donate $130 million. That guy.
Yeah.
All right, Patrick, appreciate it.
You bet.
All right, coming up, it's 2A Tuesday. Why is the DOJ, Republican-held DOJ, upholding the Firearms Act of 1934, one of the most outdated, unconstitutional, stupid gun control laws? Those deets next.
This is the story of the one who knows well-prepared workdays take off smoothly and land right on time. That's why he counts on Grainger. With next-day delivery and professional-grade products, Grainger helps ensure he, his crew, and thousands of passengers fly through the day like clockwork. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is keratin debris, where nail fungus grows. Nonex nail gel cleans out fungus by removing keratin debris. Using Nonex, 90% of nails improve. Get clinically proven results. Nonex is made in the USA and so effective, it's money-back guaranteed. Lift out the fungus with Nonex. For clear, healthy-looking nails, use Nonex Fungal Nail Clarifying Gel. Buy Nonex at Amazon, CVS, Walgreens, and Walmart.
Hi, I'm Gary Player. I'm a professional golfer. I've won 165 pro tournaments, but what means more to me than all of this is my ability to give back and do good.
You're an incredible human being. Like, you joined the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. You see the work we're doing.
I mean, what you do is fantastic. Tunnel to Towers is working every day to support America's greatest heroes. Please donate $11 a month at t2t.org.
People always ask, why Patriot Gold Group? With over 10,000 clients to date and over 1 billion in transactions, not a single complaint on the Better Business Bureau. Consumer Affairs top rated for 9 years in a row. Over 2,000 5-star reviews. The only company nationwide where you, the client, work directly with an owner. Home of the no fee for life IRA. Gold is up 80% in the last 28 months, 275% since Lehman Brothers collapsed. We are patriots protecting patriots. Give Patriot Gold Group a call at 888-528-4290 before it's too late. Patriot Gold Group is Consumer Affairs' top-rated gold and silver dealer 9 years in a row. Call now, 888-528-4290.
Want to know more about you? Like, a lot more? Let's start with who you come from and where. What was it like there? And how did you end up here? Why do you look like mom, but act like dad? And what are you passing down to the kiddos? Grab an Ancestry DNA kit and see where it takes you. Learn more than ever at Ancestry.
Oh, and finally, it's 2A Tuesday. Let's do some gun stuff. In Maine, Governor Janet Mills, the Democrat, which is weird because she came out against this question 2, Maine's proposed red flag legislation that'll be on the ballots next week. The question will read, quote, do you want to allow courts to temporarily prohibit a person from having dangerous weapons if law enforcement, family, or household members show that the person possesses a significant danger of causing physical injury to themselves or others? Now, Maine is the only state that has what they call a yellow flag, which allows guns to be taken after a mental health evaluation, but red flag laws are the worst, and they are extreme risks in all scenarios here. Cam Edwards, host of Bearing Arms, Cam and Company podcast, and Erich Pratt, Senior Vice President, Gun Owners of America. Cam, here's the thing, though. Does the defendant in question get to be present to defend themselves at one of these hearings, should this Prop 2 pass?
Not during ex parte hearings, no. Under some circumstances, maybe, but under these emergency scenarios, the person isn't even aware that a hearing is taking place. So no, they're not entitled to a defense. That happens after the fact, which is one of the reasons why people have so many due process problems with red flag laws.
Yeah, well, Eric, here's something that you guys at Gun Owners of America have been fighting forever. Like, why is Pam Bondi upholding the National Firearms Act of 1934, one of the most outdated, unconstitutional gun control laws that, quote, established registration tax requirements for specified items defined as firearms. By the statute, covered weapons include, among others, all of which I own: short-barreled rifles and shotguns and machine guns, silencers, destructive devices, and I don't have machine guns because I live in Connecticut and I can't because they're the fun police. But and it goes on to talk about all the things. Why is this administration, who by all accounts is very gun friendly? I mean, I shoot with the president's sons regularly. Like, why is this being held?
This is so frustrating, Carl. I mean, first of all, just to provide some context, GOA led the fight earlier this year to remove the tax on some of the things you're talking about: suppressors, short-barrel firearms.
Which we thank you for, by the way.
Yeah, well, and we're thankful to all our members for the loud outcry. And President Trump cited this accomplishment as a huge victory as part of his one big beautiful bill. And so now we're trying to remove these two items completely. That's the suppressors and short barrel firearms, remove them completely from the registration requirements. And that's part of our one big beautiful lawsuit. So it's a bit concerning, given Trump's support of our position, that in this other lawsuit, it's the Peterson case, the DOJ is taking a completely different position. The DOJ does acknowledge that the Second Amendment protects suppressors, but then they also say it's appropriate to register and fingerprint suppressor owners like yourself, just like we do sex offenders. I mean, that's outrageous. And amazingly, the DOJ claims that they should be able to register these items because they're particularly suitable for criminals. You know what? You could make that argument about almost anything and claim criminals can use them because, they use knives, clubs, ammunition, magazine. All these items are used by criminals. Does that mean that we should register all these items? No.
Yeah. Real quick, Cam, I know we didn't talk about this earlier, but there is a case headed to the Supreme Court right now where it's going to challenge sensitive places and restricted ownership. Look, I live in New York. I have to abide by the SAFE Act, which is so stupid. But I can't carry a gun on the train, which means that to get it here, I have to put it in a lockbox and all this thing. This is going to head to the Supreme Court, and they're going to say, hey, if you got a gun permit, hopefully you can carry basically anywhere you want, right?
Well, at least on public transportation, right? There are a couple of these cases. So you've got Wolford versus Lopez. The Supreme Court has already agreed to hear that case. That deals with the vampire rule that says you can't carry on any private property unless the private property owner allows it. But you do have cases like Schoenthal versus Raoul, which is a challenge to the ban on public transportation in Illinois. And, Carl, I mean, think about how many millions of Americans depend on public transportation to get around in their daily life. If they can't carry on a bus or a train, they can't carry before they get on that bus or train. They can't carry after they get off that bus or train either. They're essentially disarmed throughout the entirety of their day. Yeah. And I don't think that comports with the national tradition of gun ownership, which, again, encompasses a robust right to bear arms. So I hope that the Supreme Court does address this issue and sides with the plaintiffs.
Eric, I got 15 seconds for you here. A trans teen was just stopped from conducting a mass shooting.
Yeah, well, thank God for that, right? And I tell you what, here's the elephant in the room. What was this killer going to target? A school, a gun-free zone, which is where over 90% of mass shootings occur. We need to eliminate them. We got them nearly entirely eliminated in the state of Wyoming this year. Yeah. Congress needs to follow suit and get rid of all the gun-free zones.
Yeah, well, couldn't agree more, both of you guys. Eric, Cam, we appreciate it as always. All right, folks, actually, for more on these initiatives and other Second Amendment ballot things going on, please visit Newsmax.com because we're covering it tightly before we go. Are you ready for the zombie apocalypse? I am, but if you're in some of the states that I live in, you may not be. Next.
Everybody's reporting the same stories, the same spin. You turn the channel, it's always the same. But not us. We're different. We report the real news. No spin, just the facts. Turn to us, and you won't turn back.
Tune in to Rob Schmidt tonight on Newsmax.
This past year has been one of the hardest in MyPillow's history. It's because of you that we're making it through. My employees and I want to thank you for your continued support by extending our wholesale prices on classic MyPillows. Get standard classic MyPillows only $14.98. I can't believe I'm even saying that. Only $14.98. But it gets even better. Upgrade to a queen-size MyPillow for just $18.98. King size only $1 more. Get my body pillows $29.98 and multi-use My Pillows for only $9.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of these wholesale prices, including my standard size My Pillow, originally $49.98, now only $14.98. Queens $18.98, Kings only $1 more. Not only that, order $75 or more, ship absolutely free. From all of us here at My Pillow, thanks America!
A peace plan for Gaza. For the plan to advance, Hamas must disarm. Instead,
Tonight, terrifying images emerging from Gaza. Videos show Hamas-linked gunmen carrying out a public execution as they return to the streets.
Hamas on a rampage, executing Palestinians, bloody crackdown, spreading terror. For freedom, not terror, Hamas must go.
You'll find them in cities, towns, and suburbs all across America. Millions of people who have Medicare and Medicaid, but may be missing benefits they could really use. Extra benefits they may be eligible to receive at no extra cost. And if you have Medicare and Medicaid, you may be able to get extra benefits too through a Humana Medicare Advantage dual-eligible special needs plan. These plans have a $0 monthly plan premium. Call now to see if you qualify. With a Humana Medicare Advantage dual-eligible special needs plan, you could have doctor, hospital, and prescription drug coverage, plus extra benefits in one convenient plan. Most plans include the Humana Healthy Options Allowance. Get over $1,000 a year. That's $85 a month to help pay for covered over-the-counter items like vitamins, pain relievers, first aid supplies, and more. Your allowance is conveniently loaded onto a prepaid card each month, and whatever you don't spend gets carried over to the next month. Ask us about all the items your allowance may cover. Plus, you could get other important benefits. All plans include dental coverage with $0 copays for covered preventive services, vision coverage, including eye exams, and a yearly allowance to use towards eyewear, and hearing benefits with routine hearing exams and coverage toward hearing aids. Plus, hundreds of prescriptions have a $0 copay, so you'll pay nothing for them all year long. And you'll have access to Humana's multiple large plan networks of doctors, hospitals, and pharmacies. Best of all, if you have Medicare and Medicaid, you may be eligible to enroll in a Humana Medicare Advantage dual-eligible special needs plan right now. So if you have Medicare and Medicaid, call now to see if there's a plan in your area that could give you extra benefits. But now is the time. The annual enrollment period ends December 7th. Humana, a more human way to health care.
All right, you guys know that I'm hoping for this intergalactic boogaloo with 3i Atlas or whatever, but well, I'm waiting for little green men to hop off their spaceship, give me something to do for a week and a half. I am also always ready for a zombie apocalypse. In fact, I put it on my Christmas list every year. Unfortunately, many in my home state of Connecticut and neighboring states are not exactly as enthusiastic as I am. According to a new report, New Jersey is the least prepared for a state zombie apocalypse, followed by my state of Connecticut, Pennsylvania, California, and New York, which is why New Jersey is screwed, basically, because they're the most crowded state. It lacks important airports and hospitals to enhance survival, but only 14% of Americans say they actually have a plan in the event of a zombie apocalypse. Surprisingly, led by millennials, if you can believe it. Nearly a quarter of them have a plan compared to only 15% of Gen X and 6% of baby boomers. What's the most popular feature of a zombie apocalypse plan? Well, according to this, loading up on guns and ammo. I do that for fun anyway, but I tell everybody all the guns in the world won't do you any good if you don't have water. Rob, you ready?
I'm hiding at your house. That's all I know. That's where I'm going. Carl.
That's what you got for? Okay, man.
Good to see you, brother.
Later, man.
Am I ready?